Happy Tuesday, everybody.
It is a happy Tuesday.
Let me tell you, Charlotte, all a buzz about today's topic.
In the sports world.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of conversation. Panthers quarterback, 2023 #1 overall pick, Bryce Young, is getting benched. We know that this announcement comes just 24 hours.
Bryce Young is getting,
It makes you think about it, right? Because it's sort of a wild thing to say. This is just 24 hours after head coach Dave Canales insisted that he would be the starter in week 3.
That's right. So he says the decision was his after consulting with the general manager and other top brass. We know a lot of you are wondering.
Tepper.
But it's unclear just how much David Tepper, the owner of the Panthers, had to say about the move. He has been very involved in the past. It's also unclear if this is just a break for Bryce or a more permanent move. Coach Canales says it's about giving the team a chance to win.
I owe it to all of the guys, the coaches, the staff, the players, everybody involved to be really critical about what we put on film, about what I'm seeing, and to make sure that I'm constantly making the best decision for the team every week. And it happens to be the quarterback position, and so it's loaded that way, but it's every position, and it's all the guys, and I was able to stand in front of the team and challenge all the guys.
36-year-old veteran Andy Dalton will be the starter this Sunday against the Raiders. So
I think it was the company line when he on the press conference after the game. I mean, he had to say that. He had to say he's our guy. That's just reality.
Let's go ahead and get it real quick and we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. We've all got opinions here, but we want to hear from you. So chime in below, and then we'll be reading those coming up in just a few minutes. But this is what some folks said in the broadcast earlier.
Yeah, so one person says, I think the owner should be benched. Another one says, hate to say it, but yes, bench Mr. Young. Another one, just give that man an O-line.
That's huge. Well, and I want to make a point, and it's just because it shows the rebuilding process. Baker Mayfield is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL through week 2, and we were shaming him. Oh, Baker's not good. And I was like, no. When you don't have appropriate O-line, like as a Patriots fan, Tom Brady is always protected. So when you're constantly rushing, and especially when your confidence is low, and that's why I think a lot of those comments are great, because they feel bad. They want to support him, but he was put in a terrible situation.
Bryce Young at Alabama had one of the best offensive lines in the history of college football.
Yeah.
It's a whole different situation. The collegiate level and where he played at Alabama with the best of the best, and coming here in the NFL is a whole different situation. I mean, you love the people, but sometimes if you don't have that big, beefy offensive line, it's going to be tough. And you need a great running game, which we don't have yet.
So do you think that if that team was there, if there was more support around him, that he could have a successful season?
It's a lot of things. It's so difficult because, it's also confidence, and his confidence has been shaken. That's a tough part right there.
This is when you hear any organization talk about, or any leader of an organization, feigning humility and being like, no, it's always about the team. It honestly is. Like, it really can't ever be about one person, no matter what you're talking about, whether you're talking about sports. It really is a team dynamic, and you just laid out so clearly, Larry, whether comparing his college career versus now, he's still the same guy. He's still a talented player. Yeah. The dynamic around him has changed, and it really does take a team.
Take time.
Yeah. And they need to take control of this to get that locker room morale up, because they've literally had the worst start in franchise history.
You brought it up earlier. Some of the fan pictures are just brutal.
People literally gave a thumbs down. I don't think I've really ever seen somebody give many people thumbs down.
Into the game the other day when I was watching, it was just everybody left the stadium. It was so sad to see that.
Tickets at what, around $22 for that first home opener?
Depends on the team that's playing them, because the Bengals coming to town, the Chiefs coming to town, they're still charging top dollar for those ones as well.
Some of you chiming in. John says, John Kelly, I think it makes sense to give him a mental health break. Joy with the Stinger, they need a new owner. I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon.
Unless you want to buy the team.
Jake said, can we be honest? The Panthers have not been good. I'll
paraphrase,
for the last 10 years, the commercials trying to pump up the ticket sales, and fans are a joke. It has been a bit since the Panthers have been
Yeah,
Going back, what was it?
Last
time was it 2015? Last time we were in Super Bowl.
That long. If you go back in history, in New Orleans Saints went through a period. They were called the Aints. They were so bad. Teams, historically can go through these phases, but this phase has been almost too long for the Panthers.
It stops being a phase.
Yeah.
It's been a trend.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Larry, on...
I think for Bryce Young, I think you can't but like that guy. He's such a
very likable
person. You have to love the guy. So we can have a lot of compassion, but the best thing to do is put Andy Dalton in. He should have been put in a year ago and let Bryce develop. But you can't go back in the past. That's out of the past. Let's look forward to a great game Sunday against the Raiders. In Las Vegas.
Taking 2 steps back or take a step back, take 2 steps forward. Because imagine if Andy Dalton, they reverse it, that later on in the season, Bryce comes in and wins the game.
Yeah.
He needs that feeling. Also, this team needs a win just to kind of come around. And Larry, you actually asked me yesterday, I was like, name one of the star of the Panthers. And that's also what they're looking for. They're looking for their star. If any team you can say this is an upcoming star, this is a potential star, we've traded a lot of ours away. So, so somebody needs to rise up. So I think at this point, you got to arrange everything to try to get that first W.
And something to be said for Canales. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. You know this better than I do. But, one of the big reasons he was brought on was because he's considered the quarterback whisperer, because what he did with Baker Mayfield. And so the fact that he's been brought on to work with Bryce, and now is making the decision just a few weeks in.
He's putting the finger at himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, wow.
It's as much him as is Bryce. But I think the reality was he went back and looked, as he said in the press conference, hey, we're going with Bryce. And he looked at the film of the game, he went, there's no way.
So what would be considered a win for Andy coming up at this next game? What is it? Just getting a closer score? Is it seeing a different strategy?
No, I think a win is a win.
It's got to be a win.
Andy Dalton is an experienced NFL quarterback. Long-time experience, legendary in Cincinnati. Brought him to many playoffs. So he's going in to win the game, not almost win, to win. You have to, I think in anything, you go in to win, especially in the NFL. Not to maybe win. Let's win.
Going back to when they first selected him a little more than a year ago, there was a lot of talk about his size.
Yes, he's 5'9". Yeah.
How much of anything do you think this plays?
I think that's in the NFL today. You got to be big. You got to be beefy. Andy Dalton, 6'2", weighs 220. Herbert who they played on Sunday, 6'6", 230 pounds.
Huge,
big guys. Cam Newton,
huge.
If you went out there and saw him, he literally stood over everybody.
Which makes throwing the ball.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce Young, when you see him back there and he's trying to see over these big guys, just think about it. The average height of a male is about 5'9", 5'10". Put yourself against giants. It's got to be tough.
It's true. Yeah, in the NFL, it's been interesting. The other positions have trended smaller, like running backs, Devon Achane. Kyle Williams has been spectacular. Wide receivers, there's been some smaller sets. But the quarterback, you take so many hits. And they mentioned it. The O-line, he has no time, no confidence. And you said that they need a win. I think starting with not a blowout would be step one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think just something.
It was close.
Yeah, something close, but definitely need the W soon.
Mel says yes. Let him ease into the position.
Yes.
All right,
Reset.
Reset's good. All right, folks. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.